Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I kind of clickbaited you a little bit. Yes, my Uromastyx Wren, who is behind me here, she's hiding because I'm here. We'll talk about that in a minute. She does in fact hate me, but also she was in fact relocated, but she wasn't like rehomed or anything. I've kept her. She's just in the pet room now instead of downstairs where the other big enclosures are. We're gonna talk about that in a minute, why I made these changes and the behavior that I've seen afterwards. There's a couple things before I jump into this video. One, this enclosure is by All American Cages. I actually bought this years ago and didn't end up using it, and now it is being utilized and it's beautiful. So if you'd like to check out All American Cages, there is an affiliate link down below. Also, this background, this gorgeous background, is from Custom Reptile Habitats. It's just a simple flat background, but I wanted to not see black on the inside of this enclosure because it doesn't look very naturalistic. So I will leave a link with Custom Reptile Habitats down below as well. It is also an affiliate link. Another couple things I have to address really quick is that we are about to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is just insane. We're also about to hit 100,000 on Instagram, and we also are about to hit 150,000 on TikTok. Kiwi and Barry have been putting in the work, okay? Those frogs get so much attention. Congrats to Kiwi and Barry, right? That's all really their hard work, so thank you to the frogs. I'm not really sure how to celebrate yet. If you guys would like a scheduled live stream, we can do that. If you guys would prefer like just like a vlog of me, I don't know, like getting an animal tattoo or something. You know what? We should get a frog tattoo to commemorate all of their hard work, because I only had like 40,000 something subscribers at the beginning of this year, and then I had some frog shorts go viral, and now here we are. And same thing happened on TikTok and Instagram. So they're really doing the hard work here. So should I get something to commemorate them? Should I like do a special snack for them or something? I don't know. Let me know what you're thinking to celebrate 100,000 down below in the comments. One more thing I want to say before I get started is that soon I'm going to be posting a Meet My Boyfriend video ahead of some really exciting information that will be really big. It'll be a massive announcement and it will kind of include you guys, and that'll be coming in about a month. So keep your eyes peeled for both of those videos. And the very last thing I want to say is please like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Also, please consider supporting us on Patreon. They get early access to videos like this one, and they also get behind the scenes information, including the very big exciting news that's happening soon. So it's $1 a month. And now to the video. So my Uromastyx Wren, I got her 2 years ago from Crimson Exotics, which is a foster and adoption network that's run by some really awesome people. I will leave their links down below. But I got her and I originally moved her into a 4x2x2s and habitats enclosure. No beef with the enclosure whatsoever. I'm actually still using it for my Tegu Nanami so she can have a 4x2x2 linked with another 4x2x2. Did I say too many twos? Whatever, she's in an 8x2x2. So no beef whatsoever with the enclosure itself. It's just that the location and some things were not working out for Wren, and we'll get to that. So when she first came home, she was very active in like exploring her enclosure, and she would glass surf a lot, and she scratched up the acrylic something good, and she just really was active, but just for that brief period of time. And then once she like settled in, she really settled in, and she kind of just stayed put. The only time I would see her be active is if like she came out to get greens out of her bowl, and then she would run around before she pooped. That was it. Like there was no real basking, there was no real like running around or anything. It was just, I'm gonna burrow down beneath my rock, which is where she is now, but we'll talk about that in a second. But she was only doing that in her enclosure, and I thought after a while, like I really gave her a long time to settle in. Obviously it's been 2 years. I was not satisfied with that. You know, I just thought like there has to be more to this than just like wanting to hide all the time. Like I know a lot of Uromastyx don't have like, especially if they're wild caught, which she probably is, but they don't have the greatest desire to be interacted with by humans, and she is most definitely the case for that. And so between the like bigger size of her enclosure compared to this one is a 48 by 18 by 18, so it's 6 inches smaller this way and 6 inches shorter. So between like the Zen Habitats being a little bit bigger, and because the Zen Habitats was downstairs, I thought, well, I have this spare enclosure in the basement. I want to see if she would exhibit better behaviors if she was in it upstairs. Now, I did not want to tear apart her Zen Habitats enclosure, like the big heavy rocks and everything, without knowing that she would exhibit these better behaviors in this enclosure first. So actually what I did was I just moved her lights, or I might have even used extra lights, I don't remember, but I moved her lights and her up here, and it was just the background in this enclosure and paper towel and some hides, and I really wanted to keep it pretty basic and see if I kind of broke everything down and moved her somewhere quieter and in something smaller, like what would her change in behavior be, right? And it did not take long for her at all to decide to be really active in the enclosure, and she would look at me as I walked by the pet room, and instead of like what she normally would do was immediately run and hide, she would wait and watch and see if I was going to come near her. So I think just having like a quieter space in the house where she saw less movement made her feel happier, and I was like, okay, that's the answer then. So she is in this enclosure with the same type of substrate, except I added more topsoil to it because I find that sometimes if the soil is super sandy, it's like really dusty. So there's more topsoil in it, but it's still an arid mix. And then she has the exact same plants as before. She has the exact same woods and rocks as before. They're just set up a little bit differently. And she has a couple hides that are different, but in general, oh, the birds are out there having a fight. In general, it's pretty much the same. The main difference for her being that it's in a quiet part of the house and also that it's smaller. I think the fact that it's smaller, everything is more cluttered, so there's like less space between the rocks and the front of the enclosure. There's less space between her hide and the food bowl. Everything's a bit closer together, and I think that that's better for her. Now, normally I wouldn't recommend downsizing a reptile to a smaller enclosure. Instead, just fill it with more clutter. I did try this with her other enclosure, but I think it was the location. I think it was just because it was on the main floor of the house and that's too busy for her. Up here, she's much happier. I'm going to be including clips throughout the video of me trying to film her from far away because, of course, I can't film her up close because she doesn't like me. Like, she would rather hide if I'm near her. And today she's traumatized because I clipped her toenails, which is another thing we'll talk about in a second. But she'd rather hide than ever have to acknowledge that I exist, and that's completely fine. Like, I'd rather her be happy than have to feel like her life is always going to be at my whim. Like, I'd rather her be out, I'd rather handle her type of thing. I'd rather her be comfortable, and I only get to see her on like checks where I check her body, make sure everything's good, or like just in passing as I walk down the hall. So let's talk about her nail trim really quick. So a lot of the clips that you're gonna see of her, she has kind of longer nails and they needed to be clipped, but I wanted to like let her settle into this enclosure for a couple weeks before I decided to clip them. So any clips that you see, you know, with her with long nails, that's from before this is being filmed. And there's also going to be clips, I'm sure, with her having shorter nails, and that's from after this point. Normally, nails are not an issue for a lot of lizards. Like, they'll be able to file theirs down on rocks and wood and stuff. But like I told you, she chose not to really interact with her environment that much before, and as such her nails would get long. This is not the first time I've had to clip them. When she was surrendered to Crimson Exotics, she had to have her nails trimmed because they were very long then too. I'm sure you can imagine it's not a very fun process to do because she hates me. So I actually have a little bit of boo-boos, you know, a little bit of cuts, a little bit of scrapes. Tail whips me and it's sharp, so I get ouchies. I'm hoping that having done the nail trim, she doesn't go back to that behavior. But, you know, fingers crossed. For me, having a Uromastyx has been really interesting for that reason because she's just, like, I wouldn't say difficult, but she's not easy. Like, I wouldn't say her care is difficult, but her personality, and again, that's completely fine if she would prefer never to interact with me. But it can just make interacting with her in terms of, like, having to clip nails or making sure that she looks good makes that part difficult. But as you can see throughout the clips, she's very active in this enclosure, and she has been every day. So I'll walk by this room, I mean tons of times a day, or into the room tons of times a day, but I'm not staying in here and I'm not making a lot of noise compared to if she's on the main floor. And so when I walk by, I'll get to see her like running around. She'll do a lot of basking, she'll do a lot of perching, like on this piece of wood here where she stands up really tall, and it's really fun to see. She'll still be eating. She just had a poop in here the other day. Like, she's she's doing great in this enclosure. And so normally I would not recommend downgrading, but in this situation, not only did moving her enclosure benefit her, but I think having everything closer together and in a smaller space was better. The minimum recommended size on a lot of care guides for Uromastyx, or if you talk to people who keep them, is a 4x2x2 or larger. And I'd also like to say that, like, I agree with that, but also my Uromastyx is small. Like, she's not a normal sized Uromastyx. When I got her from Crimson Exotics, like, they said that the vet thought perhaps she was like stunted growth situation because she's just smaller than other Uromastyx that they had. So just a little lady, you know, just a little sassy lady who likes to flick me with her tail. I thought this would be an important video because it raises the point of always trying something new and always catering the care to your specific animal. It's always a good idea to try new things with your reptiles to get the behavior that you want out of them, or to make them feel safer, or to cater to an animal that has specific needs, or like an elderly animal, or like a juvenile. Like, it's always a good idea to take the care that you see online, or that you see from other people, or that you see from books, and then make it your own. Make it your own to fit your animal's needs. And so I hope that this video kind of demonstrates that. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, let me know by leaving a like and a comment. Also, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please check us out on Patreon, which is linked below. And also don't forget to check out All American Cages and Custom Reptile Habitats, which are also linked down below. As a final note, like I said in the beginning, there will be two kind of not animal related announcement videos coming. One which is meeting my boyfriend Ben. If you guys have any questions you'd like to ask him, please leave them down below. That video, and then there will also be a very, very exciting announcement video that you guys can kind of be part of, which is really, really cool. But it's gonna be a few weeks still till then, maybe a month. But I thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.